Hello, it's time for another Gita video. Today we're doing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 9. And this says, one who is highly advanced will be able to see enlightenment in allies, patrons, enemies, neutral parties, messengers, those who envy him, his relatives, those said to be saintly, and those said to be sinners. This verse is a continuance of the last set of verses. If you've been watching the Bhagavad Gita videos, the last verses were verses 5 to 8, where it talked about how one can free the soul from the dominance of the mind that clouds the soul by seeking to unite with the super soul, with consciousness. So here it's saying that somebody who is so united will be able to see the enlightenment in this long shopping list of people. But it's basically meaning to say that you'll be able to see the enlightenment in everyone, right? So why is that? Well, because you're seeking to unite with the whole, with everything that is part of the whole. And so the only way to do that is to be total. And the only way to unite is to unite totally. And the only thing you can unite to is the whole, is the total, right? And if you think that there's some part of that which isn't in there, then you can't be doing it right. It's not working that way. So somebody who is highly advanced will be able to realize that they are just as connected and no more connected than anybody else, than their friends, their enemy, their mentor, people they've just randomly met on their street, their relatives, people who are supposedly super duper spiritual and people who are supposedly super duper sinful, right? All of these people are exactly equally a part of the whole of creation as you are. So one of the surest ways to tell if someone is not genuinely having reached that level of consciousness is if you think you've reached that level of consciousness and yet you still think you are somehow more special than other people. If you think that, then you aren't there. So sometimes people might interpret this verse to suggest, well, then, what does it say about how should we treat him? It's not saying, for example, okay, so if you are able to recognize that you are as much a part of that enlightenment, a part of that divine union, as of that oneness, as people who envy you. Does that mean you shouldn't do anything at all about people who envy you? What about your enemies? Should you not do anything at all about them? Should you not care about your friends? How does that work? And to understand and remember the right context of this, and not to get tricked into some kind of false rejection of life, which is really what you see in certain kind of sect-like movements that end up somehow claiming that you're going to be able to unite to the whole, that you're going to be able to connect to the super soul by rejecting parts of the super soul. How does that work, right? The way that you can understand the context of this verse is that it is not happening in isolation. It's happening within the story of the Gita. And the story of the Gita itself is happening in the story of the Mahabharata, this epic war that is being fought by Arjuna and his brothers against their cousins. And it's a civil war and an apocalyptic one that causes tremendous devastation. And they all know that it's going to cause terrible devastation. And if you look back to the earliest videos, or if you read back to the earliest chapter of the Gita, you will see that the story of the Gita itself, the great teaching that Krishna gives to Arjuna, happens at the eve of that apocalyptic battle, and where Arjuna is planning to run away to go and become an ascetic in the forest, right? To go and reject the world, to say, I'm just going to take all that away. I'm going to put on some orange robes and put some tilaka on and chant Hare Krishna. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything else because, how could it be proper to do anything else? How could it be proper to care about the world, to care about fighting these guys or defeating those guys, or this guy should be king or that guy should be king. How should that be reasonable? And the whole first chapter is Krishna explaining exactly why it is, what one's duty is, what one has to do, right? And so it becoming part of the whole means accepting every part of the whole, every part of life, every part of reality. And it doesn't mean that you suddenly are going to act as though there are parts of that reality that don't operate in a certain way on a certain level, on a certain plane, and in a different way on another level or another plane. In short, it means that you have to remember at every moment, especially if you're not there yet in terms of your enlightenment level, you have to remember that everybody around you is as much a part of that divine union as you are. And that's a very useful thing to remember, because it can help you to develop virtue that will allow you to get closer to that level of awareness in reality, right? You're cultivating that experience within yourself, and that's a very useful practice. But that means that you also recognize within that union that there are rules, that there are laws, that there are, some of them are cosmic laws that exist on certain dimensions, and then others, there are also the laws of the place and time that you're in and the way that the world works where you are in, right? You can't expect that because you've suddenly claimed that you've recognized you're one with everything, that means that now you don't have to participate in ordinary living, or that it should somehow be rearranged for your benefit. Because if you're doing that, you think that you're the center of the universe, and you're not. None of us are. So, I'm not either. Nobody is the center of the universe. So if you're experiencing that sensation of being able to really understand, or if you develop that and cultivate that feeling of being able to understand that every person in front of you, that the people that you interact with, the people you love, the people you hate, the people you have no particular feeling for at all or don't know, are as much a part of that union, of that spiritual union as you are, no more and no less, then you can choose how to act consciously with those people. And the way you act should be a natural choice based on not just that understanding, but also the understanding of embracing that this world as it is a part of that divine union with everything great and everything terrible about it. And again, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to change the world. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to improve the world. It means that you recognize that even this world as it is, right? The tantrics have this saying, this very world is the lotus paradise, this very world is the charnel grounds, and it's the same world, right? That the burning place for the corpses is the same as the divine lotus paradise, because they both exist here and now. That's where you are, and that's where union is. It's the only place union is found, in the here and now, in this crossroad between time and space that is this moment. So if you can connect to that and make that bridge between the temporal and the spiritual, make that crossroad, then that's where you're going to find enlightenment. Not if you try to only fly up into some kind of aether up there, and not if you stay flat on the ground of your petty ego and your petty desires or what your mind tells you to do, right? The whole point is you have to find the crossroad. You have to find the bridge that connects the world of matter and the world of spirit, and they're both here right now in the same world, and it's the now. So I guess that's everything for today. If you like this video, please subscribe to the Gita playlist, and if you're interested in a set of cultivation practices for enlightenment and a system of training for enlightenment, check out the Yi-Fa Society playlist. And if you find that appealing to you, please consider submitting an application to join the Yi-Fa Society by getting in touch with me. Share this video anywhere you think it'll be of interest to people also. Finally, if you want to keep up with my postings, not just here, but all over social media, check out the link that will be in the description below for the mailing list If you sign up to that mailing list, you'll get a free email once a month that will have links to some of my most important teachings of that month. But also, when you sign up, the sign up email that you receive will have in it a link to get a free PDF copy of my book, The Path and the Power, which is my interpretation and commentary on the Tao Te Ching, just like this is of the Bhagavad Gita or of the I Ching. And you'll get that book for free on PDF, and you'd hopefully find it very interesting. So please feel free to sign up for the mailing list and share this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.